Hello, stamping friends. It's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. It's so good to be with you again. I have a really awesome class. I am so excited about this one. It's so pretty, and I know that you're going to love it. It's with the Friendly Hello Sale-a-Bration bundle. And this one is a special stamp set that and also some papers that come with the Sale-a-Bration promotion. So remember, Sale-a-Bration is going on now through the end of February only. And there's lots of free things that you can get with the Sale-a-Bration promotion. If you're not familiar with it, let me just do the rundown really quickly. If you have a $50 order or a $100 order, you can choose free items out of the Sale-a-Bration flyer. If you need a flyer, you can go to my website, toocoolstamping.com, and you can either look at the PDF there, or you can message me and I'll be happy to send one to you in the mail. Now, the Friendly Hello that we're going to be using today, that is one of the items that you can select with a $100 order. So it comes with a stamp set and papers, and I'll show you those up close when we turn the camera around. There's also some really cute samples on the other side. And I just noticed this right before I got on camera tonight. It says these pretty paper patterns are designed to be stamped on with line art images. So the paper is designed to be stamped on with the stamps. I didn't know that. I would have designed some different cards if I had realized that. But anyway, you learn something new. You should always read your catalogs. There's lots of fun tips in there. So anyway, this is the Sale-a-Bration bundle that you can earn with a $100 order. So some of the things you can earn with a $50 order, because this is a stamp set and papers combined, it takes a $100 order to earn that for free, and that is only through the end of February. Now, a couple other things going on with Sale-a-Bration. If you have a $300 order, either an individual order, or if you put together some orders with your friends, if you get to the $300 mark, you can get this really pretty Calming Camellia stamp set. I absolutely love this one. If you like flowers, you're gonna love today's class. You're gonna love this stamp set. So this is one that you'll earn for free with a $300 order. And then of course we have that starter kit special. Every Sale-a-Bration there's something awesome happening with the starter kit. This time you get 2 free stamp sets of your choice from either the annual catalog or the mini catalog that's out right now, and that is all with a $99 starter kit. Remember, for a $99 starter kit you can select up to $125 in any items that you want, plus you'll be able to choose those 2 free stamp sets during Sale-a-Bration only, and you're going to get all the perks of being part of the Stampin' Up! Family and part of my Too Cool team. So you're going to get that 20% discount. You're going to be able to participate in our Too Cool team events that we have. We have a Facebook page that's exclusive to our team. We have a monthly gathering online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the country, you can connect with us and have fun with us, do make and takes with us and swaps, challenges, all kinds of fun stuff. So I would love to have you on my team. And remember, there's no obligation to sell. You don't have to do clashes. You don't have to do things like this where you get online and sell things. You can simply enjoy the discount, be a hobbyist, and have fun with other people who share the passion of stamping just like you. Okay, let's get to our class today because I think you're going to love it. We're going to turn the camera around, so hold on for just a moment while we flip everything. All right, they've kind of moved my buttons around on my Facebook. So I was like, where's the flip button? It's not where it used to be. I haven't done this for, several months, so it's good to be back. Okay, let's just introduce you first to the Friendly Hello bundle. This is what you get when you have a $100 order and you select this as a free item during Sale-a-Bration throughout the month of February. So you're going to start out with the Friendly Hello stamp set. Again, you have some really nice sentiments and some pretty images that are perfect for coloring. And apparently, as I just found out from the flyer, you can stamp those images on the paper. So that makes sense. When you look at the paper, this is my favorite part of the bundle. Just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous imagery on this paper. Beautiful light pastel springy colors. I just am so excited about this paper. This is my favorite one right here with all the different colors, but ones like this I think you could stamp on and it would make it look more like some of these other ones with the black outlines. So really, really fun. It's just a regular paper pack too. It's 12 by 12 and you get 6 different patterns and they're double-sided and you'll get 2 each of those. So here are all the varieties, just a really, really pretty pack of paper. And a lot of our projects today are going to feature this paper in a way that you can really spotlight how pretty they are. Now remember, when we have our live class, I'd like to have a live class kit, and you can earn that class kit for free when you place an order with me, $35 minimum order. Be sure to use that host code E6QEYXUJ. That will let me know which kit that you are interested in, and you'll just need to go to toocoolstamping.com, click on the shop now link, and place your order there. So I'll be showing you all the cards in that 5-card kit, as well as some Too Cool versions as well, and hopefully you will have a good time making these with me when I send those kits out. Now this host code and the class will be available. I'm gonna have it, I was gonna say through next Tuesday. I'm used to doing it through the day before my live class, but since my class is so late in the day, let's make it through the 16th of February, so that's next Wednesday. And we'll keep that host code open, so if you want to place an order and earn that free kit, make sure you place an order by next Wednesday, February 16th. Okay, let's get started with our first card. I'm going to start out, since this is a photopolymer stamp set, I like to have a piercing mat down. That way it's going to give me a little bit of cushion when I stamp, and that will allow us to transfer the ink really nicely. And then I'm just going to put a piece of copy paper over it so that if we stamp off of the paper, we'll be stamping on a scrap instead of the piercing mat. Okay, let's get started. My first card today is going to be with it starts with the Fresh Freesia card base. And all of my cards are going to be starting with the same basic measurements, the 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. So this is our card base. And then we're going to have a really pretty background that we're going to make. And I'm going to get my handy ruler out here to make sure I give you the right measurements. This is basic black, and it's 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then we're also going to cut 3 different patterns of the Friendly Hello Designer Series paper, and it's going to be 1 7/8 by 3 1/2. So 3 different pieces of those. And then we're just going to start adding these to our background. So the first one I'm going to put over here. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a border around it. Next, I'm going to put the Fresh Freesia pattern on the other side. I'm going to flip it over just because it's easier for me to do so. And then we'll put the Petal Pink in the center. So just center that in between, like so. All right, and that's ready to go on our card front. Add some seal to that. And this is going to actually be a horizontal card. All right, there's our background. Next, we're going to work on the focal point. I've already cut some die cuts here, a circle and a scallop circle in Fresh Freesia. This is basic white. I've used the layering circles dies to do that. And we'll start out with the pretty bird image, and we're going to stamp that with Memento ink because we're going to do some coloring with Stampin' Blends. You always want to make sure that you use Memento water-based ink when you're using the alcohol-based markers. So we'll stamp that. And then one thing I did notice is, and you might see it since I'm going to start stamping right away, it's really best with this basic white paper to let the ink dry thoroughly before you start using Stampin' Blends. All right, I'm going to start out with the light pool party and just give this guy a brush of Pool Party color. And I left his head a little bit white and his just underneath his neck there. If you want to add some shading, you can do that too. This is where you really would like to let this ink dry nice and thoroughly. I don't know if you can see, but it starts to bleed just a little bit as you add a little bit of color if you don't let it wait and dry. Okay, next up we're going to use some, I think I have Pale Papaya here, which is really close to Petal Pink, but it's not Petal Pink. You probably want to use Petal Pink if you like to have everything color coordinated. I found the wrong blends, but we'll just add some color to those flowers there, and then we'll use some Fresh Freesia. It's a weird color for a stem here or a branch here, but we're going to make it coordinate. So we'll also add a little bit of Fresh Freesia in the middle of the flower. All right, we'll add that to our scalloped circle for a little bit of color, and then we'll pop that up with some dimensionals. Okay. Do you do a lot of coloring with Stampin' Blends? I'd love to know if you do. So there is our focal point there. We're going to add a sentiment with some Pool Party. Let's give you a measurement, 2 1/4 by 5/8, and we'll stamp that with some Memento black ink. I love that you can just see exactly where you're stamping right through these photopolymer stamps. And I stamped it over to the side a little bit so we can just do a little fishtail cut. So I go up the center and then corner to center, corner to center. That gives me a nice symmetrical. And that's going to go on right there. So I'm going to put a little bit of seal on the one side. And then I'm going to put a dimensional or 2, maybe 2, on the other side. Whoops. Get that adhesive off of there so I'm not sticking to future projects. All right, we're going to add this. Hope you have a happy birthday. I love that, so pretty. And then my current favorite ribbon anyway, that is the black and white gingham ribbon. I've already tied a bow with that. And I'm going to add that with a glue dot. So just put the middle of that bow right on the glue dot. And then we'll add that right to the corner here. We're going to finish up with my favorite embellishment at the moment, and that's the Iridescent Rhinestones. I'm not even sure if they're available yet. I think they were supposed to be back in this week, but I don't know if they made it back in or not. And I apologize that I don't know for sure right at the moment, but as soon as they come in, you need to get some if you don't have some already. They are absolutely awesome, and they match so many things because of the iridescence of them. So I just put 2 of the medium size, fits perfectly in those flowers. And there you have it. So that is the first card. I featured this card on my blog today, so you can go ahead and look at that at toocoolstamping.com if you want to see all the measurements and details for that. And then I also wanted to show you the other card I featured. This one actually is from Anastasia Radloff. She gave me this swap card, and that is where I got my idea for it. As you can see, I pretty much exactly copied what she was doing. I ended up coloring the bird instead of just doing just the Pool Party stamping. I used the gingham ribbon instead of the Pool Party sheer ribbon, and a different color for the sentiment here. And then the main difference is that I used black instead of white. So I thought it kind of had a little bit of more of a pop, and I also chose all the patterns that had black outlines on them, so that really helped that black pop on there. So thank you so much, Anastasia, for that idea. I love it. So this will be the card that will be in your card kit. All right, next up, we're going to do Again, a pool party card base. This one is the same measurement at the beginning, 5.5 by 8.5, and then we're going to score it at 2.5 and 6.5. So we're scoring it at 2.5 and 6.5, and this is actually going to make your card a little bit skinnier than a normal card. So it'll just be 4 inches across instead of 4.25. And it's going to be a pocket card. So it's going to open up this way, and this is going to be our pocket. And I will show you how that works in a minute. But first, let's decorate our flaps on the outside. So I have this piece of Friendly Hello paper. This is a 5.25 by 2.25. We'll add this to the top flap. And then the bottom, it's this pretty striped paper. And this is going to be 5.25 by, can't remember, have to look it up, 1.75. So there is our background decoration. I love how that coordinates. Let's make that pocket. We're not going to use adhesive. We're just going to use the Pool Party sheer ribbon and wrap that around. And this is going to keep that bottom closed to become the pocket. So I'm just going to tie this in a double knot, make a little faux bow. Trim the ends up a little bit. All right, so there's our pocket. Let's decorate the outside. I've already die cut this piece of basic white, and this is with the Tasteful Labels dies. We're going to use that same bird image on this one, and we'll color it very similarly. So this is my dark one for Pool Party. I'm doing it backwards this time. Before I started with the light and I added a little bit of dark. This time I'm starting with the dark and adding the light. Either way, it works. And we'll do the branch this time with some soft suede, the light, and we're going to add a little bit of green to our leaves this time. You don't necessarily have to color them in, but I want to give it just a little bit of a green on top of that black. And then again with our petal pink. And mine's a little bit brighter because it's actually pale papaya because I picked the wrong one up. So just color those in. You could do more shading, get a little bit more detailed with it if you wanted to. Again, add some fresh freesia in the middle. And there is our focal point. We're going to add that to the top here, and we'll do that with dimensionals. So what I like to do to make sure I don't put the dimensionals on too far down, I'm going to turn this around so I know exactly how far down that's going to be, and make sure that I don't have my dimensionals down that far, and then add those. And put that on. I'm going to move this over just a little tiny bit. Okay, and then like the other card, we're going to do another sentiment, the same one that says birthday. This time we'll stamp it over to the other side, and we'll do a little fishtail cut over here, banner cut, whatever you want to call it. And we'll add that up here. So again, we'll have a little bit of overlapping and some dimensionals needed. So So let's add a couple of those. Whoops. Doo-doo. Sound effects always help. Okay, here is our birthday. I love that there's a birthday sentiment in here, and I never have enough birthday. So I did several birthday cards for this kit because I don't know about you, but I never have enough. All right, let's do the pocket for the inside. I have just a piece here that is 4.5 by 3.5. And I'm just gonna do, you could stamp it however you want to, get as detailed as you want to. I'm just gonna add a little bit of Pool Party with this cute flower, like so. And then we'll tuck that in here, write your message on there, and you have a really cute little tri-fold type of card. So this is the card that's going to be in your 5-card kit. And remember, you're going to get all the parts and pieces already die cut, ready to go. All you need to do is have the stamp set, the inks and adhesives, and you're good to go. Okay, let me show you the Too Cool version. This is the other card that I made. I started with the Fresh Freesia for the background, the card base, and this one has a Pool Party pattern, that same stripes, because I just loved how that looked at the bottom. We used the flowers this time, and the sentiment here, I think I used Pale Papaya for this one too. It's really supposed to be petal pink, I believe. Now I'm like confusing myself. Let's look it up, because I don't know. I was so back and forth. It is petal pink, so I don't know why I kept going to Pale Papaya. I liked the brightness, I guess. Anyway, I also added some rhinestones, which I forgot to add to this one. I was going to add a couple of those again in the flowers. This time I'm going to do the smaller ones. Gotta have sparkle. All right, so there we go. So those are the 2 cool versions. I hope you love those. All right, let's get on with the 3rd card. This one is a Granny Apple Green card base. And then we're gonna decorate that with a 3¼ by 5¼ piece of Granny Apple Green, and this has been embossed with one of the brand new embossing folders. It's actually part of a pair that it's a smaller size, and it's called Stripes and Splatters. So this one is the stripes. I love it. It's kind of a distressed looking stripe. Really, really pretty. And we'll add that to the card front. And this will go over to the outer edge. And then we have just a skinny little piece here. I'm sticking on something. Let's get that off of there. Let's flip it over. This is a skinny little piece of the Hello Friendly Designer Series paper. It's just 3¼ by 5¼ So we'll add some seal to that. And this one goes right up against that embossed piece. Whoops, that just stuck right down, and now it doesn't want to let go. All right, it's really sticky glue, that seal. All right, so there's our background. Oh, we have one more piece actually. This one is a 4 by 1¼ inch piece of Pool Party, and we're going to use that flower image that we just had with the Pool Party ink. And we're just gonna kind of stamp around randomly and make sure that we fill the edges up. Like so. And that's gonna go down closer to the bottom. A little crisscross design. Like that. All right, now we'll work on our focal point. This time we're going to use the flower image. I love this one. We're going to start with Pool Party for the flowers. And Let's go right here. And then we're going to do a little stamping collage. There's all kinds of parts and pieces that you can use. And I'm going to start with the leafy image, a little branch here, and Granny Apple Green. I didn't want it to get too dark, so I'm going to stamp off once. And then I'm going to start adding some of those around the sides here. And I love the shape of this, really kind of fits right around the flowers nicely. So that was Granny Apple Green stamped off. Then we're going to use our petal pink and a different little image here. It's just a little, they're like little buds of flowers. And we're going to add that to the sides here, like so. And then we're going to put this on a black scallop circle. Now I made this die cut. This is basic white, and it was also made with that layering circles die like we did for the first card. And then I'm going to pop that up with some dimensionals. I didn't do that very equally, did I? I'm not going to let it bother me, even though I'm completely OCD. But I don't have to look at that once it's once it's gone. Okay, so we're going to put it right here, and then we're going to add. You know what? I totally messed up. I forgot to. I kept thinking I had a sentiment to add over the top. That's not true. I had one to add right on the top here. So I'm going to try to stamp it, but because it's stuck up with dimensionals, I don't know how well it's going to look. Let's see if we can do it. If not, I'm just going to show you what I did earlier. I'm just going to lightly stamp it and roll it a little bit. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to work. Okay, let me just show you what it looks like. In fact, you probably should stamp that first. I forgot how to make my own card. I hate that. Stamp that image first, then you can stamp around it. That way you don't have any overlaps. And that is what it should look like. And then I added a few of those iridescent rhinestones. And I don't know if you can see, but I even added a little bit of the wink of Stella. I love this stuff. If you guys don't have a wink of Stella, you're totally missing out, because you could wink of Stella everything. Just put a little tiny bit of shimmer on those leaves, or on those petals, I mean. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but a little bit of shimmer always goes well. Okay, don't you love it when you mess up? I hate that, especially when it's on camera. Okay, we're moving on. This is the card we're gonna have in our card kit. Let me show you the Too Cool version. This one that I did started with Pool Party, and I talked to you about the stripes and splatters embossing folders. This is the splatter version, so if you can see that detail, some really fun kind of paint splattery looking. And at this time I used the petal pink going across. I used a different color, a fresh freesia pattern of the Friendly Hello Designer Series paper. And then I don't know if you can see, but I actually added some spotting to the petals on there, because I realized that I didn't have any Pool Party after I got done stamping it, and I wanted to add a little color to it. So I added that. And I also put large rhinestones on the middle of the flowers, like we did on the other cards for the smaller flowers. So this one doesn't have them on the flowers, just something a little bit different way to look at it. So again, this is the card that's going to be in your 5-card kit. Okay, 2 more cards. This one, I got the basic idea from the Sale-a-Bration flyer, and I wanted to just remind you, when you're ever looking for inspiration, don't forget to check out your flyer and your catalog and your mini catalog. It has all kinds of great samples that you can look at to get ideas and inspiration, color coordination ideas. and layout ideas. So I looked at this one and I wanted to do something very similar, and so this is what I came up with. We start out with the Fresh Freesia card base. We're going to add, this is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch piece of Fresh Freesia, and I've already used the Tasteful Textile embossing folder, if you can see that. Just a very subtle texture there, and we're going to add some seal to that. And this will be our textured background. All right, next up, I use the Scalloped Contours dies to cut out this scalloped rectangle. It does have a little bit of faux stitching on the sides. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really, really pretty. And we'll add this to our background. And this is going to go kind of up here in this corner. And it makes me sad that he's facing down, but he's going to be covered up anyway, so we're not going to worry about him. Next up, we have a 3 by 3 piece of basic white. And this one, we're going to start out with, I'm trying to make sure I'm doing it in the right chronological order so that I don't mess up like I did last time. When you make your cards too far in advance, you forget how you put them together. All right, so we're going to start out with the leafy image in Granny Apple Green, stamped off once, and that way we know how far that goes up to the top there. Then we're going to add our, here it is, our flowers. I want to make sure that they're nice and cleaned up, so I'm going to squeegee them off here on our Simply Chamois. We're going to stamp that in Fresh Freesia. And so there's the flowers. Next, we're going to add that 3 little bud image with Pool Party. Let me get this Granny Apple out of my way. Actually, I'm going to need that in a minute. I'm going to need it now, actually. Trying to find, oh, here we go. There's 2 little leaf images that we're going to add at the bottom. Again, we're going to stamp off once. And I put those down a little bit because I'm going to do a sentiment across here, and I want to make sure that those show. Now we'll do the Pool Party, and we'll just add those in a couple of areas. Maybe one coming out down here. And I think we're going to also add some Pool Party flecks, some little dots. And I love how this just kind of, the shape of that just wraps around the flowers and the different pieces too. So there's a little bit of flecks you can see. All right, we'll pop that up onto our card front with some dimensionals. All right. I hope you guys are loving these cards and the paper especially. I feel like even though you got to spend $100 to get this set and the paper's for free, the papers make it totally worth it. I just really, really love them. All right, we'll add that right there, and then we're going to finish up with that same birthday greeting that we've been using. Let me measure this so I can give you, this is a 2 by 5 5/8. That's going to go right here. So most of that is going to be with seal, and then maybe, let's see if we can find a mini, whoops, everything's crashing. a little mini dimensional for the end, just to keep that up, not drooping down. We don't want it to droop down. Okay, there we go. Hope you have the best birthday. And then we'll finish up with some rhinestones again. All of these, I included the iridescent rhinestones because the colors that you see on the iridescent rhinestones are pretty much the colors that are in the patterns of paper. So add those onto the flowers, and there you go. There is our 4th card for our 5-card kit, inspired by the Sale-a-Bration flyer sample. And then we have another Too Cool version. This one is in the petal pink. I did the same textured background, used a different fresh freesia pattern for the scalloped rectangle from the Scallop Contours dies, and then did a little bit different coloring for the background flowers there. This time I used the champagne rhinestones because I thought it would look really nice with that petal pink, and the petal pink for the sentiment. So this fresh freesia one will be the one in your card kit. All right, we have one more, and this is another fancy fold card. This one begins with Pool Party again, and this time we're gonna score at the 4 4.25, like we normally would, and then also at the 2 1/8, so that we're gonna have a little, it's actually gonna go like this. So we'll fold it once toward the middle and then fold it in half. And this is gonna be a little easel card. So this part's gonna stand up. But first we're gonna decorate the outside. So the top portion here is Pool Party. I've textured it with that splatter texture again. And this is a 2 by 5 1/4. We'll add that to the top panel. It just barely fits on the inside there. And then we have a couple layers here. We have a 2 by 5 1/4 for the background layer. This is in basic white. And then this is a 1 7/8 by 4 7/8 inch piece. Sorry, 5 1/8. Let me just check. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. 1 7/8 by 5 1/8. So this is going to be another little layer here before we layer it onto our card front. So just a little hint of the white showing as a border. Oops. And then we'll add that to the bottom. Okay, so that's going to sit up like this. And then we'll add a focal point to that. We're going to do very similar to what we have been doing with the kind of the stamped collage look. And that is, we'll start out with the fresh freesia. Actually, let's start out with the sentiment. More sound effects. We're going to use the big Hello Friend bold sentiment on this one. It's just always good to start out with the sentiment. That way you can kind of build your background around it. Okay, next we'll add those 2 big flowers. Just kind of stamp over it. That was in fresh freesia. I'm going to add just a little flower up here, and maybe a little flower over here. We're going to do that same granny apple green stamped off. Just kind of fill in and maybe one over here. And I think that's all we're going to do. We're going to leave that corner open there. I didn't give you a measurement on this, I don't think. This is a 2 1/8 by 3 1/4. It's kind of a funny measurement, but it's designed to go inside this stitched so sweetly scalloped rectangle die cut. So, and this is in Granny Apple Green. So we'll add that to this piece. Really makes it pop with that green color. And then this is going to be on our easel like this. So we only want part of it to be attached. So remember what we do. We want about half of that to be attached. We're going to line it up where we want it. And then we know exactly where to put those dimensionals so that they don't interfere with the top part. Okay, peel all those off, stick that right on in the center. All right, so now we need a little place to secure that easel. This is kind of a horizontal easel card. So that is going to be with a piece from the inside. This is a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of basic white. And I'm going to stamp that. You can go crazy and do whatever you want to with however you want to decorate it. I'm going to add just a little bit of the same kind of thing that we did on the outside. And then maybe some leaves as well. Gotta love those leaves. They just really make the whole bouquet. And then one more over here. And then I left some room along the bottom because we're going to put some designer series paper there. So this is the Hello Friendly Fresh Freesia pattern. Whoops, let me get this going. Sometimes it likes to stick, or not stick, I guess it would be. We're going to add that right along the bottom, flush. And then we'll put this on the inside of the card. So if you have trouble with that seal not starting, just use your finger and advance it just a teeny bit. No big whoop. All right, this goes right on the inside. And then we'll finish up by making a stopper for this easel. I have a die cut here. It's basic white, and I've used the Tasteful Labels dies to cut that. And then we're going to use the You Have My Love and Support sentiment. We're going to add a couple of dimensionals here on the back. And this is going to act as a little stopper, a little kickstand for our front. So kind of make sure that you have that nice and centered, back side to side, and also in between your paper there. And you can see how that just stands up really nicely. So when it opens up, you can just have it sitting on your desk. Let me go like this so you can see what it would look like. Just really, really cute. All right, we're going to add some bling. Don't forget the bling. This one, we're just going to add a couple of rhinestones to the inside since we already have that popped up. And yeah, we need some on the outside too. Let's put a couple here. And maybe one over here somewhere. All right, so this is the card that's going to come in your card kit. And let me show you the Too Cool version. Here's the other one. This is in Granny Apple Green. We did the same splatter texture, the same paper on the bottom. This background or this border here is with shaded spruce this time. I colored, or I stamped the bird image, colored in that with a little bit of shaded spruce on the leaf and fresh freesia for the flowers, pool party and petal pink for the bird, and some Granny Apple Green flecks to match the splattered. And then here's the inside. And this time I used the Stitch So Sweetly kind of to match this outside. And I used the Hope You Have the Best Birthday. Did a little bit of different stamping on this inside and made it a little bit darker images. And then you have this cute easel. All right, so that is our final card. Let me bring all the cards back and remind you that you can earn the 5-card kit with a $35 order. Be sure to use that host code, and you can go to my toocoolstamping.com website to place that order. And that will be available through February 16th. That's next Wednesday. So let me gather up all of our different cards here. This one and this one. So here are all the different cards that we have in your card kit. You're going to get all the parts and pieces, the cardstock, the die cuts already die cut for you. The paper is included, so you don't have to necessarily purchase that Friendly Hello bundle to get the paper, but you're going to want those stamps and you're going to want the paper to make your own projects. Believe me, it's just so pretty. So I'll have everything else ready for you. You'll need some Stampin' Blends. You'll need the stamps. If you don't, you know, you can always use other stamps if you don't get the Friendly Hello bundle. We have enough room here that you can use lots of other different stamps and sentiments that you have on your own if you want to, but you're really going to want that paper, I promise you. So make sure that you place that order by next Wednesday. Make sure that you use that host code. That's the only way that I can tell which kit you're interested in, especially if we have an overlapping host code on that Wednesday. So you'll need to make sure that you add that. And if you can't figure out, it's usually, let's see, I believe it's on the checkout page right at the top right above your totals. And that's where you add that host code in. If you have any trouble, you can always message me and let me know, and I can help you with that host code, but you definitely need that. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you really enjoyed these projects this week, and I look forward to stamping with you again for our next live video. Until then, this is Angie with toocoolstamping.com. Have a great week, you guys. Bye-bye.